7,107 islands, 85 million people speaking 112 dialects, and they can all carry a tune. Where else can I be but the Philippines? Yoo-hoo! I'm here to join the 9th Philippine Hobie Challenge that will see me sail some 260 nautical miles. That's about 490 kilometers. That will see me sail from Luzon in the north, through the Visayas, down to my final destination in the south, Mindanao. And there'll be 12 teams participating in 5 daily races. And along the way, I'll get to see some of the most beautiful scenery and beaches in the world.
The Philippine Hobie Challenge is back, now in its 9th year of what has become the premier extreme sailing event in the Philippines. The race attracts hobie enthusiasts from the Philippines and around the world. This year, 12 teams from as far afield as Australia, America, England and Holland are taking part, competing with top Filipino sailors from the Taal Lake Yacht Club and the Philippine Sailing Association. This year's race has been dubbed the Luz Viminda Challenge, an acronym derived from the 3 groups of major islands we'll be sailing through, starting from Luzon in the north, through the Visayas group of islands in the middle, and onwards to our final destination, Mindanao, down south. But hang on, before we even begin the race, some of you may be wondering, just what exactly is a hobie? Well, it all started back in the 60s with a Californian named Hobie Alta.
Now, before you enjoy the Philippine Hobie Challenge, you need to know what a hobie is. And if you're like me, you know nothing about, hobie. Here's the man to tell me all about it. Bob, how do you do?
Hello.
Thanks for talking to me. So, this is a hobie.
Yes.
First of all, a hobie was named after a bloke, I understand.
Hobie Alta, yep. We're going California, a surfer, designed him, I think in the early 70s, yeah.
Early 70s. And what makes a hobie special is the
two hulls, the
two
asymmetrical
hulls.
hulls and no centerboard. So they're designed to sail in the surf and in the ocean and off the beach.
There are now Hobie 14, 16 through to 20 and 21, and even those with names like Bravo, Dragoon, Tiger and Fox. Only 3 countries in the world can they claim as producers of hobies: Australia, America and France. And to date, more than 100,000 hobies are now sailing somewhere around the world. So back to the race. Gubat Bay, Sorsogon on the southern tip of Luzon was originally our starting point, but who would have thought the weather would conspire against us? 3 days of non-stop pounding rain and strong winds of almost typhoonic proportions forced the organizers to relocate the starting point to Matnock and abandon the planned inshore races. And to make up for lost time, our first stop at Sambuan Island was also ditched.
Well, it's been 3 days since we arrived in the Philippines, on the island of Luzon, Manila of course, and we were supposed to start the race in Gubat Bay, which is about 25 miles away, but the weather has just been really, really bad. It's been raining heavily every day, so the organizers have decided to move the starting point to here, Matnock Beach, and I've been told that we're going to start tomorrow now, not today. So today the participants, I think 20 of them, 20 teams are reassembling their Hobie 16, and we'll wait and see. And I must tell you that I came here expecting really hot tropical weather. In fact, I was thinking I could make do with t-shirt and Bermudas, but you can see I've got my jacket and my raincoat, and of course my waterproof bag for my electronic gadget. But it's going to be interesting because what's going to happen is that we're going to sail from Matnock. We were originally going to go to Samboyan Island, but they've scrapped the idea. we're now going to sail right through to our second destination, which is the island of Baksal. And we are hitting just the southern tip of San Bernardino Strait, which I've been told is pretty treacherous because the tidal waters are very strong because you get the Pacific Ocean meeting the Samar Sea. So I was quite worried. I'm not really a sailor, but we'll see how it goes. So it's tomorrow now, tomorrow and counting.
With the starting point now revised and a day lost due to bad weather, the 9th Philippine Hobie Challenge is now a 4-day race that will see participants sail from Matnok to our first stop, Baksal Island, some 76 nautical miles away. From there we head to Marabut on the island of Samar, then onwards to the beautiful tiny island of Suluan, before heading to our final destination, the surfing paradise of Siargao, on the northern tip of Mindanao. And along the way, we'll sail in some of the most beautiful waters in the world, take in the beautiful scenery and camp out on beautiful secluded beaches. If only life was that straightforward. I'm in the Philippines to join 12 international teams sail in the 9th Philippine Hobie Challenge that will see me sail some 490 kilometers from Luzon through the Visayas down south to Mindanao.
Well, this is it. D-Day. They're starting today. Weather is still not that good, but at least it's better. I've been told that the wind speed out there is between 10 to 15 knots, so apparently that's good for the sailors here, and they're all getting ready now. They're about to start. They're starting off close to the reef over that side, and they're heading 76 sea miles to Baksal Island, our first stop, which is about 100 kilometers. And their first challenge really is on the second island south of here. Apparently the tidal water is quite strong, and they have to pass through 3 gates between island and buoys, and port side island, and of course the buoys on the starboard side. And they have to make their way right through to the orange line when they reach the island. And so everything is all set. As for me, I'm a little bit apprehensive, a little bit excited, and a little bit unsure, but you know, I'm starting this race without, if not a drop of seawater on my toes, but hopefully I'm going to reach my final destination quite the sailor.
Before the race even begins, we lose the Dutch team, who called it quits after their Hobie capsized and one of its hull punctured. And so with 11 left, we're finally off. This is the longest leg of the challenge, 76 nautical miles through the strong tidal waters of San Bernardino Straits, then further south between the islands of Leyte and Samar. It was smooth sailing at first, with moderate winds helping the sailors make their way towards our first stop, the island of Baksal. But then, the wind stopped.
Yeah, we're just going over to the middle of the fleet now. The wind's gone light, and because of that we decided to tow the boats for a while. We may find a bit of wind later, in which case we'll restart the race, but what you're going to get for the moment is a good bit of technical seamanship with this banker towing 6 Hobies, 3 either side, and if we do it right we should be able to go about 10 knots, so it's so we will be able to get on the track and go back down to Sant'Anino Island.
In the end, all 11 Hobies had to be towed to our first port of call. Our banker towed 5, the other 6 were pulled along by the admin banker. Towing a Hobie sounds easy enough, but first you have to secure them to the bunker, and that takes considerable skills. Alas, this was not to be the only time the Hobies had to be towed. Baksal is a beautiful island off the main island of Samar, and after a night's rest, the teams get ready to set sail again. We arrived the night before in rain and darkness, but daylight reveals just how much work goes into setting up our base camp, only to have to dismantle them in the morning. This would be our routine over the next few days. The competitors are the first to set sail, this time through the narrow San Juanico Strait that divides the islands of Samar and Leyte. This course takes us under the San Juanico Bridge, the longest in the Philippines. The bridge was once known as the Marcos Bridge, named after the late Ferdinand Marcos, who had it constructed as a sign of his undying love for wife Imelda. The bridge links Tacloban city on the island of Leyte, Marcos's hometown, to Santa Rita on Samar, Imelda's hometown. Our second rest stop is Marabut, on the southern tip of Samar. A good day sailing for all but two teams who had to be towed. No tents to pitch this time. We're staying at the beautiful Kaluwayan Beach Resort with its own private cove.
Okay, the third day today, we're in Marabut, and as you can see, it's raining, so there's going to be more excitement, I'm sure. We're headed south to Suluan Island. Yesterday we had to tow a few boats, and I don't know what's going to happen today, but hey, anything can happen in a challenge, so we'll just wait and see.
It's been smooth sailing so far through the Visayas, the narrow San Juanico Strait between Samar and Leyte ensuring calm waters. But the third leg of this race is about to test our endurance. It's one thing to sail in relatively sheltered waters, but our route to the tiny island of Suluan takes us out into the open, where the Philippine Sea meets the Pacific Ocean. I'll spare you, dear viewers, the gory details, except to say, I've never been more glad to step on dry land. But beautiful Suluan Island made my ordeal at sea worthwhile. I've never seen a more beautiful beach, the gentle lapping waves washing over its soft pinkish sand. It's as close to paradise as I ever got on this trip.
Now, I've been to a lot of beaches around the world, but this is the first time that I've actually met the owner of one, and this is the owner, Dexter.
Yeah.
How do you do? You're a lucky man.
Yeah, I'm
so
fine.
I understand that you own this stretch of beach.
Yeah.
From show me from where? From
Yeah,
that end.
the stone. Yeah, the rock up there up here.
Around the corner.
Okay. Yeah.
Now I also understand that this is among the few beaches in Philippines with pink sand.
Yeah. So we're very lucky, to have this
But-
kind of beach.
Tell me, how do you end up owning your own beach? Did you,
No, from my grandma, grandpa, so they own this and
So you inherited
Yeah.
the beach.
Yeah.
Now, this is the Suluan Island, and how big is the island? And where do you live, actually?
I live at the other side.
That's the
here.
village, the
Yeah,
barangay.
Yeah, barangay.
And so that's the end of the island over there,
Yeah.
and it goes right through. So it's not very big.
No, that's very big.
Yeah, do you get tourists here at all, or are we the first visitors?
No, we have a lot of tourist camp here. The surfer, the windsurfer.
And they come and they set
Yeah,
up
they
camp
come to
here.
this island. Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you very much. I hope it remains this way all the time.
For the logistic team though, it's now the chore of unloading our provisions for the night.
And with me is the man, the one in charge of logistics, Ras Hughes. Ras,
Yeah.
now you've been doing this every day
Yes.
over the past
For the last
for the
5
last
days.
5
yes,
days.
yes.
And does it get any easier?
No, it gets harder every day.
Tell me, how much food do you have to cater for on a challenge like this? We've got 12 teams, and
Yes.
with all the accompanying
There are about
partners.
50 people, 50 very hungry people, and we have to feed them 3 times a day. There's a breakfast, and they take a packed lunch, and we cook a meal on the beach every day. So that's 3 meals a day times, the whole thing is 7 days long, so
that's 21 meals.
You have to
21
figure
meals,
it out.
yeah.
Yes.
So do you have to replenish the food daily?
No, we take everything we need in one fell swoop. We've got a bunker, as you've seen it, you've photographed it,
Yeah.
and it packs everything. And
What's the
from sleeping bags to tents to personal gear to cooking utensils to all of the food and vegetables, fruit, water, and of course ice cold beer.
Meantime, I have to find a place to sleep. It's a tent for me tonight, but I suppose you can't have it all. If you want a deserted beach, you can't expect a hotel planted right on the beachfront. And as far as I'm concerned, I'll sleep like a hobo just to experience the beauty of Suluan. Another morning, another ritual of packing up and loading of provisions onto the bangkas for our onward journey. And as usual, the Hobies depart first, ready for another challenging day out at sea. I leave Suluan with a heavy heart. How can anyone not fall in love with this beautiful island?
So, Dexter, thank you so much.
All right. Okay, yeah, thanks for coming. Hope you enjoy this island, the beach. Hope you all coming back.
Coming back. I'm definitely coming back to Suluan Island.
All right. Thank you. Okay, God bless.
And so I bid farewell to cool Dexter, who looked right at home on a beach in Hawaii. But hey, why go anywhere else when you've got your own slice of paradise? I just hope the sea is kinder to me on the final leg of this challenge. I'm on the last leg of the 9th Philippine Hobie Challenge, and so far we've sailed some 200 nautical miles, that's almost 380 kilometers from Luzon in the north through the Visayas, and we're now heading towards our final destination, the island of Siargao in Mindanao. We began with 12 teams, but the Dutch duo pulled out at the beginning. It hasn't been smooth sailing all the way. Hobies had to be towed on our first day. It seems you either have too much wind or not enough. Then again, what's a challenge without the trials and tribulations?
Last day of the race, we've got finally clear blue sky, the sun is out and fantastic swell, and we're after the leader. We are actually about half a mile away from the halfway turn, which is the final stretch after that. And today, some drama in the high seas. We lost one Hobie, so we are 10 left now. Don't quite know who the leader is yet, so we're about to find out soon.
So far, I've yet to determine who the race leader is. Only a few people know the answer, and the one man who's been keeping track is Judge David Burnskill.
We're just coming up to the turning mark at Siargao Island, north of Siargao Island. There's about 14 miles to go to the next point, and at the moment the boats are doing about just under 5 knots, so another 3 hours till we start to actually turn for our run into the finish.
The last leg and more towing, and after 4 days at sea, I'm beginning to empathize with the participants. Naturally, because of the towing, our bunker arrives well after the challenge leader sailed into our final destination, Siargao Island. So I'm just going to have to wait until tomorrow to find out who the winner is.
Okay, with me now is Jerry Rowland, chairman of the Philippines Hobie Challenge. Jerry?
That's correct.
Thank you very much for inviting us on this extreme sports event. So we are now at our final destination, so my first question to you is, what do you think of this year's challenge?
Well, this year's challenge has been a challenge.
A challenge.
And you, of course, have now been part of it. It hasn't been quite the challenge that we normally like to put to people. The challenge should be to sailors to sail competitively in varying conditions. Well, we've certainly had varying conditions, but we haven't had as much sailing as we wanted to, with the rain and the storms at the start and the sun and the calms at the end.
There were supposed to be 3 inshore races at Siargao, but after a challenging 4 days at sea, everyone was happy to just sit back and relax. I still don't know who the overall winner is, but before the final tally is counted, participants are given a chance to voice their concerns.
All right, I've been with this gentleman for the best part of this challenge, and so I've learned a lot from you, David. But then I understand there was a redress this afternoon.
Well, there were actually 2 redress hearings this afternoon, basically all concerning how we scored one particular day of the race, and it was very technically complicated, and because it sort of split the fleet, you know, passions were rather high.
With nothing much to do but wait till tonight's award ceremony, I decide to check out the island of Siargao. Siargao is still unspoiled, no hordes of tourists here, thank you very much, and whatever accommodation is available on the island is quite basic. But it's a mecca for surfers from around the world.
Okay, I'm sure all of us have at some point seen a t-shirt emblazoned with the word Cloud 9 on it. I know I have. And have you wondered what Cloud 9 is? Some think it's a chocolate bar, but wonder no more, because this is Cloud 9, the best surfing spot in the world. People come from all over the world to try out their skills here, and you can look at the waves, killer waves, and it can go as high as 7 feet. And I'm standing on this jetty, and I just happen to have the Philippine national surfing champion with me, Carlito. Carlito, hi, how do you do?
Hi, I'm good. Thank
So
you.
you are the national champion, I understand.
Yeah, I am,
You've just won that title.
Yeah, I just
what?
won that title last 2 weeks ago in Aurora, Baler, in very far from here.
And you were competing against the best in the Philippines.
Yeah.
With these awesome waves and the publicity it gets from surfing competitions, Cloud9 and Siargao is not going to be left undiscovered for long.
Now, tell me, what's the objective of the Hobie Challenge?
You know, before when I was not in the Department of Tourism, I used to, whenever I had a vacation, I used to leave the Philippines until I became in the Department of Tourism, and then I saw how beautiful our country is. And I said, how can the people know about the beauty of our country? So, you know, we're surrounded by waters. We have 7,100 islands.